The Honorable Omar Sharif here. Hope all are living in health. So check it out. Yeah, it's been a while since I talked to the folks. Yeah, I'm alive. Post check. But also too, it's been a while since I've done anything creative. To that point, I was supposed to do a fucking podcast yesterday, right? Oh, hold up, something seems a bit off. Give me 1 second. All right, I was supposed to do a podcast yesterday. I take time and get that shit fucking lovely. You know what I'm talking about? Supposed to meet up at 8 o'clock. Got all my shit together. Got I think, a hell of a goddamn show. 8 o'clock turns to 8:30. If, let me go ahead and say, Prince, I appreciate you. You feel me? And the cast that was there, in the audience or whatever, to watch the debate. Hey, I don't think it was going to be a debate. I just wanted to be, us to be able to talk about the news. But fuck all that. What I am going to do is a pilot for the podcast in terms of the idea that I had, but B, I actually want to run through the show from yesterday, and I'll give my takes really quick, because it was all about getting the takes from, everybody else involved. But at the end of the day, bruh, I had to make a whole bunch of changes and learn some new software and all that. So, I didn't get a chance to try it out in the field. So, you know what I'm saying? Goddamn, I need to try that shit now. You feel me? You feel me? Make sure this shit works. Goddamn it. So that being said, in case I get to mention, if you have not checked out the gaming channel, we will be getting more complex there. We'll get more into the shits. But yeah, if I am gonna do this whole, show thing, let me get serious real quick. So, alright, check it out. So, obviously, it's Higher Learning Podcast. We're just gonna kick things off with this to get everybody in the right state of mind.
Man, I gotta admit, you've been real polite about staying out of my way. You ain't been honest, man. See, I figure it ain't what a person say, it's what they think. So in my mind, you've been walking around here calling me a nigga in your head. Am I right?
I don't have nothing to say to you, man.
No, I think you do. You want to say what you feel, don't you? You think I'm a nigga? You be a man and call me one to my face. You're just a punk-ass white boy with a fucked up haircut. Bitch.
Alright, so some quick context, because I actually wanted this to be a bit of an icebreaker. That's from the movie Higher Learning. Omar Epps, Lawrence Fishburne, Tyra Banks, a young Tyra Banks. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't thick yet then. But here's the point. I was curious how many cats had actually seen the movie. Since this is the Higher Learning Podcast. But enough said. Let's get into the actual news. Speaking of punk-ass white boys with fucked up haircuts. I don't know if y'all knew what broke yesterday, but let's get into it.
President Trump got a big legal win today. A New York appeals court threw out his roughly $500 million civil fraud penalty. This is a significant blow to New York Attorney General Letitia James's case against the president and his business. Now, the court was split on what to do with the case now. While the penalty was voided, the court didn't toss out the case entirely. Instead, this paves the way for it to likely move to the New York Supreme Court. Trump just took a victory lap on social media. He called it a total victory and laid into Letitia James. He bashed the case as a political witch hunt and one of the worst business persecutions in the history of our country.
All right, so here's the thing about Trump. Number one, and it has to be said, you know what I'm saying? It's like this motherfucker has either the best luck, you know what I'm saying? Because it seems no matter what, this motherfucker shit goes his way. You know what I mean? And the thing that I was going to frame this topic around was, okay, sure, that was the news regarding the civil fraud case, but you had the Russia summit, you had the Epstein judge, basically a third federal judge, basically saying, okay, I'm not going to release the grand jury information, but like in their decision, basically said, yo, I see what you're trying to do. This is a diversion. And in his own way, trying to basically just say, look, I see what you're trying to do, but you're not going to use my court to try to play this game. And the thing that I wanted to move the conversation towards was, for me, I'm in politics, like heavy in terms of what I follow, what I read up. I try to make sure I stay abreast. But I know that's not everybody's like perspective. And my question was going to be, how much real estate does all of this Trump stuff, because although he's consumed American politics, for most people day to day, they might hear a headline or, you know what I'm saying, like somebody might tell them something that happened, but for the most part, they're not really worried about it on a, like it's something that's gonna, they don't really lose sleep about it or give it too much thought. So I was really curious to see what the panel thought, just because, again, with the enormity. And quick sidebar, there's enormousness and enormity. They're not the fucking same. You can Google me if you want. It's enormity. It means wickedness. Trust me. I went to a magnet school. Shout out to breakfast. All right. In any event, due to all of the evil shit this man does, I really just want to know that people have gotten tired of it. They don't really care anymore. Like, they're kind of over it. Or is it a situation where people have made up their mind about who this person is? And so when something new comes out that either justifies the character assessment you've already made, or, because at some point, the action someone takes is either going to have to be so out the way it surprises you, or else you're just going to be like, oh, it's just so-and-so being so-and-so. Like, case in point, Dr. Umar was in the news. The FDMG Academy, the drama continued. There were liens, unpaid fees, questions about the school, if it's ever going to open, the land going to be sold, it's going to be auctioned off, etc. And speaking of Trump, it made me think about another person who had some comments on Dr. Umar that people, while this person might be polarizing, people still gravitate to. But here's the thing. I want you to really think about what he says about Dr. Umar, and outside of the messenger, how appropriate or on point it is.
Number 3, he a beggar. I ain't no beggar. He been begging to get his school built. I don't beg for nothing, not even pussy. So yeah. No. We ain't the same kind of. And I ain't got no like or dislike for the. I just know homie, the strongest man in the land is the man who wake up every day and ain't got to ask nobody for nothing. And as long as he been talking to the people, naming himself doctor, he been asking and begging our people for money. As long as I've been talking to the people as Mr. Charleston White and now comedian Charleston, I don't ask for no money. I don't post my cash out. I don't post no super chat. I never ask for donations. I ain't trying to build nothing but something that's in my village. And I say, this is what I'm doing, and people come join in to help.
And then that's the thing, you know what I'm saying? And you know what? No matter how you may feel about Charleston White, let me go ahead and get that man, you know what I'm saying, like some appreciation, because I don't disagree with what he said at all. That's always been my thing with Dr. Umar, but just behind, like, the thought process. In the news recently, we've had Dr. Umar with his nonsense. Tariq Nasheed is a constant mainstay on the Kali. Amanda Seales did the Jubilee. And it made me ponder that a lot of these cats who came and had their rise and came to prominence, or at least to a certain level of name notoriety, they came up while we was coming up. So it's kind of funny now, especially like with Tariq, for me to be able to see what he is now as opposed to when I was listening to Ism Radio, and you know what I'm saying? I called into the motherfucking show. You know what I'm saying? Hey, ironically, I called in the Kevin Samuels show and Tariq Nasheed. So I know the audio somewhere out there. I don't have it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this made me wonder, like, with all these voices, like, is it a situation where just having a voice and having a name is all you need? It doesn't really matter what the message or how much authenticity or integrity you have to have behind your actions. Because I mean, the Umar thing, I had to call a spade and accept way early in the game, like, yo, this nigga's probably finessing and hustling people, and there's probably not ever going to be a school. But for the proliferation of his brand in terms of how popular he became, I mean, shit, I wouldn't have opened the school either. I'm kidding. I wouldn't have made the offer, but it is what it is. But I mean, I guess that's also going to help me transition to the story that I had next. So, you know what? Let me go ahead and give it the proper, introduction.
Oh, sucky now. We back here talking about UMG again.
Oh, UMG is not playing with Lawbury, the Karen, the hip-hop cop, Grams.
Oh, shucks. UMG is ready to play the dirty game. They not playing games no more, man.
They're not playing with them.
I have a lot to say about this one.
Well,
and that's the thing. I hoped a lot of people were going to have, particularly Breakfast, because he asked for the topic. My only 2 cents on it was I really wasn't going to have too much into it because at the end of the day, one thing I know about an individual versus a large corporation, you're not going to win. I don't care if you're Drake. You're not going to win. And then the thing about it, like Drake's situation is so flimsy. Like, if he had like a good case, maybe, and on a sidebar, like, I can't listen to any Drake music anymore, and and it's hard for me to say that because I really was a fan. Like I used to play Take Care like crazy. But now I can't do it. I mean, it's sad, but in a way, I'm glad it happened though, because Drake needed a little humility. And I guess my final point on this, because I really would have loved to hear what everybody else's contributions or thoughts were, is what next? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the whole label artist business model is kind of coming to an end. So at the end of the day, but the one thing I didn't know while researching for this is like UMG, like they low key run the music business, like commercial side outside of like being independent. So like they kind of got their hands on everything, so you kind of gotta deal with them. But I don't know. In terms of the actual topic, if the nigga Drake, if they got documents of this nigga fucking around with kids, it's kind of like the Epstein shit with goddamn the FBI and that whole saga. If there's information out there about victims who have been taken advantage of or violent, you know what I'm saying, done wrong, like it shouldn't be that goddamn hard for that type of information to come out. But now I got to go through the legal system, and the lawyers got to talk to this lawyer, and it's just like, bruh, whatever happened to right being right, wrong being wrong. But speaking of which, Target's longtime CEO, Brian Cornell, announced that he was stepping down in 2026 after a rough run with failing sales and backlash over DEI rollbacks. A lot of people don't know Pastor Jamal Bryant, little known fact, the church that he's a pastor of, I believe, it's Eddie Long's former church, but when I lived in Atlanta, I used to go to that church. It was before all the... It was around the time, look, the nigga didn't befriend me, and I was a visitor. I never actually joined, you know what I'm saying? I was living in Atlanta at the time, and yeah, beautiful campus. In any event, Jamal Bryant, he reacted to the news regarding the CEO of Target, but also wanted to make a point that I hope you niggas pay attention to because it's really on point.
The black community is the country's lead consumers. We have $2 trillion worth of spending power. It just hasn't been targeted. No pun intended.
And yeah, no pun intended. See, savvy, clever. Brother was well dressed, but yeah, man, the thing I wanted to do with that topic was some people are saying it's a black boycott. Other people are saying it's been just the economic climate with the tariffs and this overall just, things aren't necessarily humming in all cylinders. So I wanted to have a debate or discussion about, is it 50-50, 60-40? I'm sure somebody would be like, man, that boycott ain't have no impact on Target, and that would have been a riveting and spirited discussion. But it does make you think, though, you know what I'm saying? But it also highlights the power of money, which would have led to our next story about Tank saying he's going to fight Jake Paul. Set for fights officially set for November in Atlanta, where Tank now calls home, by the way. Shout out to Atlanta. But one person that chimed in with their opinion by hearing the news was Shakur Stevenson. Check out his what he had to say.
Nah, I'm not shocked. I mean, his last fight when he fought Lamont, Jake Paul was at the fight. He told y'all he was going to fight somebody like Jake Paul. So I'm not shocked. It don't surprise me. So, nah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. At first, I was like, I felt a way about it. But then I thought, and I was like, bruh, nah, man, if I'm Tank, I might as well cash out. You know what I'm saying? Boxing as a whole, like, it doesn't have the popularity it once had, and it's namely its own fault. But that's a discussion for another day. I know there's some brothers in the channel that's big on boxing. That would be a great discussion. Quick piggyback on that. Andre Ward talk about he would come back to fight Anthony Joshua. If I'm AJ, I'm feeling disrespected. That man's basically saying, bro, I can sit out for 8 years. I feel comfortable calling you out if I come back. I don't need no tune-up fight, nigga. I'm good with you. And you a heavyweight. But in any event, see, like, that's the type of shit that boxing has gone to. We're speculating over a fight that probably won't happen because outside of Tank and Jake Paul, I don't know no upcoming fights. I mean, I know Canelo and Bud's coming up, but outside of that, nah. And yeah. You know what? Nah, I don't think there's another big fight coming up this year. But I could be mistaken. And matter of fact, too, where's let me Google something real quick, because I want to know when the Canelo Bud fight is. Canelo Bud. All right, September. Oh, word. That shit 2 weeks before my birthday. I love it. That's the business. They fighting out in Las Vegas. All right, cool. All right, so the next story, you know what? I'm just going to let the news hit on this one because I feel this also would have been a pretty good discussion. This one is actually probably like more serious than people think, but not in the way that I think people would think that I mean by that.
Desperate times, desperate measures for Democrats this afternoon, from California to New York and everywhere in between. Just moments ago, the California State Assembly approved a ballot measure allowing for a vote on a new congressional map on November 4th. It'll head to the Senate, then presumably the governor's desk for signing. It is an in-kind response to what happened late last night in Texas, when Republicans there, in transparently political fashion, forged and passed a new district map mid-decade that stands to pad the party's majority in Washington. For California, though, today is a sort of break glass in case of emergency moment in time, a retaliation for what Democrats there view as an act of political warfare. Here is California Governor Gavin Newsom on the battle lines drawn in Texas.
This is radical rigging of a midterm election. Radical rigging of an election, destroying, vandalizing this democracy, the rule of law. So I'm sorry, I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
You know what's so crazy? I remember when Obeezy was in office, right? You had Michelle. When they go low, we go high. And in my mind, I was like, nah, man. I mean, that's that mentality you have to have when, you know, you work in a certain environment where it's like, I can't really react how my authentic self would want to react because I have to conform and stay within the bounds of what this work environment, you know what I'm saying, is giving me. Fuck all that. And I hate that it has to be a white man saying it, but goddamn, yeah, fuck that. It's time to fight fire with fire. That's the problem with the Democrats. The Republicans have shown you that they ain't got no problem doing whatever needs to be done behind what they fighting for. If grandma gotta lose her Social Security and Medicaid, fuck it. If I get an extra $1,200 next year on my taxes, it was all worth it. Them motherfuckers can justify anything, and outside of the justification, have the means and the wherewithal and the lack of a moral compass to the point where they'll make you feel bad for, you know, feeling a way about what their agenda is. So no, we need this. I say we. I don't look. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about these old labels, Democrat and Republican. I know we're never gonna have a multi-party system in this country. I mean, it is what it is. But that point being said, if there is an arm race, Republicans are gonna win. Here's the problem with Democrats. They're like I was gonna say the nigga, but you know, there's women that's been in this situation too. Like, they've always been the goody two-shoes in the relationship. They ain't ever like cheated, you know what I'm saying? And then something happened that's too far, and they decide they wanna, you know, the quote unquote the good girl wants to go bad. And like, when you don't know how to operate in that level, it's a learning process. You know what I'm saying? And I just hope the Democrats, in terms of how they choose to move forward, are aware that the Republicans will say fuck the Constitution in a heartbeat. So you shouldn't really be worried about all that lawful legal shit. You know what I'm saying? You need to put your white hat on. Let's take it back. Let's take it back in the days. We need an Olivia Pope right now. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I watched that show. Don't judge me. And then the final thing was just a quick one I saw on the Collie, but I wanted to let everybody get, you know what I'm saying, their take on it. But I'm going to read the excerpt from the piece. It's from the New Yorker. It was about the Sydney Sweeney shit. And I'll share that in a bit. All right, here's the take, or the excerpt. Interestingly, breast and the desire for them are stereotyped as objects of white desire, as opposed to, say, the black man's hunger for ass. Sweeney, on the precipice of totalizing fame, has an adoring legion, the most extreme of whom want to recruit her as a kind of Aryan princess. Alright, the whole American Eagle ad, that whole hoopla, I really feel the only niggas that got upset about that was people who really don't got nothing else to get upset about, or people who always find shit to get upset about, because I didn't give a fuck. Even when people explain to me, I mean, it's not that hard to get good genes, I get it. Okay, white people, blonde hair, blue eyes, nigga, that's America. I'm used to that. What are we doing? And she didn't look as good as Beyonce did, so what's the problem? But I would have been curious to see some of the different opinions regarding this. Because here's the thing with that story, why I highlighted. When I was coming up, like, and I know stereotypes, assumptions, but they exist for a reason. It was always white dudes are in the titties and niggas is in the ass. And for the most part, it's been that way throughout my life. So I didn't understand why there was such a backlash to this. And the woman that wrote it's a Haitian woman who apparently, according to her, now deleted social media, doesn't necessarily have the most, let's just say she has disdain for clear folks. So, but my thing is, if that's something that's understood in the culture, like, why get all up in arms if somebody writes it as a part of the larger point they're making? But, all right. Then the final thing, matter of fact, let me see if I got my, let me see if give me 1 second. I'm doing this all on the fly. Don't judge me. You know what I'm saying? Trying to produce, talk, all in one at the same damn time. Where is it at? But this is good because I need to get familiar with this shit anyway. So in any event, it's the goddamn motherfucker said I want to play a game, and I came up with the idea for a game. And I mean, it's not some all right, fuck it, I want to play a game. All right, so here's the game. The game is I want to call it Neg It or Rep It. Or, yeah, here's the thing. Like, I'm actually like thinking. I'm trying to think this through. So I wanted to call it, because you know, like the term neg to Bolivia. And so I was trying to think, well, like, what would be the opposite of that? I would be like, well, Rep to Zamunda or Wakanda. All right, so fuck that, but Rep It or Neg It. And here's the basic how the game goes. I'll play something, a clip, it'll be a clip for now in this iteration of the podcast. All right, so I'll play it, and if I want people to respond as if they were on the collie and they were reading someone typing this. Would they neg that person, or would they give them rep? So here's the first one, and this one's actually funny because I don't know if you saw that Cracker Barrel changed their logo, which they haven't changed in forever, I think since 1977. But there were people who didn't know why that happened. So I think this clip will help shed some light.
I've had it with white people that triple trumped, that have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant, go to perhaps their gay hairdresser. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. And if you want to triple trump and you want to browbeat DEI, and you want to browbeat gay people, and you want to browbeat black people as you've been doing for 400 years, and you want to browbeat this generation of immigrants that come over here and open up businesses earnestly, pay their taxes. You want to demonize them and call them rapists and felons and all this shit, when the felon is the teeny weeny mushroom cock piece of shit, Kinko's McTaco tits at the top of the ticket. I have fucking had it from top to bottom. White people that triple trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat asses out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel, because nobody wants to see your fucking smug ass, teeny weeny, pink arm, big gut around. Nobody wants to see that shit.
That's what I'm talking about, goddammit. So obviously, I would have repped that person. But I would have been curious to see like how folks felt about. I feel like people might have had an issue with the messenger in that one, but I guess we'll never know. All right, the next one would have been a bit of a twist on it. Here's the audio. Check it out. Yeah, it's about that whole brawl on the cruise over chicken tenders. And the twist would be, because hopefully I would hope nobody would have been dapping that, repping that, but you never know, these niggas, some niggas, they applaud niggerdom. But I don't know, my twist was going to be, is there any situation in which you would be able to justify yourself getting into a squabble over chicken tenders? It don't even got to be on a cruise, just over chicken tenders in general. And speaking of eating, we're going to close with this honorable gentleman. I'm sure you may have heard of him a time or two.
Got a new program coming out for the ladies. It's called Lunch with the Doctor. It's called Lunch with the Doctor. You make a $500 donation to FDMG Academy, ladies. $500 donation to FDMG Academy, and you get a free lunch with Dr. Umar, restaurant of your choice in the state of Wilmington, Delaware.
All right, ladies, there you go. Now, here's the only, I'm gonna fucking neg that nigga to Bolivia. But I obviously, again, wanted to hear what people were saying. But here's the funny thing. I remember, wasn't that long ago, there was a whole dinner with Jay-Z at 500. Bro, what dusty ass broad is going to send this nigga $500, bro? Because A, you got to go to Wilmington, Delaware. B, like, if he's going to expect you to pay for the meal. Or you're using the money. Look, I don't know how the nigga's going to make money off of it, but I wish him well in his endeavors, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I really would have loved to hear what everybody thought was going to be on that. But outside of that, that was basically going to be kind of the feel of the show. Those are the topics, the clips. Yeah, I mainly did this just to really play around with this new shit and try to get used to it. That's what she said. All right, let's go. In any event, the Honorable Omar Sharif, hopefully we'll be able to get this shit together for this Thursday. Any event though, man, y'all stay up, bro. God damn. Yay.